Hello fellows and ladies. Taking a quick pause from the tip of it all to review the latest film from Francis Ford Coppola, Megalopolis. I know it went to tip, but I didn't see that tip, so technically I'm not obligated to mention tip, even though I did. I'm a failure as a son. This film is about, I should have written this down. The general idea of Megalopolis, I think what Francis was trying to do, was basically Adam Driver plays this, scientist, architecture kind of guy who, lives in a place called New Rome in America, and he wants it to be better. He wants to build a better version of it. So this might be the most cursed movie in history, maybe? Francis Ford Coppola made this movie, by self-financing it. He sold off a bit of his winery. He also had this movie in, the back of his head since, the 70s? And then he was like, I don't want to make movies anymore. And then he was like, I want to make movies. I want to make Megalopolis. And then he made the movie himself with his own money, and then, it went to Cannes and he got kind of railroaded. So it kind of had trouble getting distribution for the longest time. Lionsgate finally picked it up with a caveat that Francis Ford had to market it himself. And then the marketing did happen, and there was that one trailer that came out that had some quotes from the God, that kind of shit on the Godfather, critic quotes from the old days that shit on the Godfather, Apocalypse Now and Dracula. But, it turns out those are fake. Just drawing attention that the movie sucks is an interesting call. There was also reports of, Francis Ford Coppola assaulting some of the background extras on the set, and then now he's suing Variety for submitting that. All in all, just a complete disaster of a production and a film and a marketing, only for it to now come out, and yeah, it's terrible. But, there's a caveat, there's an olive branch to its garbage. Yes, it's terrible, but, in an almost you have to watch it kind of way. Because this movie's obviously ambitious. There's a lot going on here. A lot on Francis Ford Coppola's mind. Obviously, this is, he's been bottling up for, half a century? Nearly half a century of bottled up ideas. Yeah, it's gonna fucking result in some nonsense. Dude plays with a lot of camera techniques. Sometimes it'll just be a little circle at the beginning of the screen for no reasons at all. It'll just be, three, I don't know what the phrase would be, just three boxes. Sometimes the images overlap, sometimes it's just these images are the same, but this is a different image. Everyone in this movie sucks. Everyone in this movie sucks. Adam Driver is, kind of decent. He's, successfully really ridiculous in the role. But, everyone else, Natalie Emanuel's, very bad. Aubrey Plaza's delivery is terrible. Jon Voight's delivery is awful. Shia LaBeouf, why is he in this movie? And also, why is he doing? Jason Schwartzman, what is he doing? Giancarlo Esposito. I don't want to dish Giancarlo Esposito. I love Giancarlo Esposito. And yet, I have to diss him. He sucked. Just very quickly into this movie, I kind of gave up. It was too quick in this movie. I just went what are we doing here? What exactly is this movie? Because, yes, it has, one pretty basic through line. Okay, Adam Driver has a bit of a rivalry with Giancarlo Esposito's character. He wants to build a utopia. But then it just becomes Gladiator. And then also it's a murder mystery at one point. And then it's a star-crossed lovers story. And then also they got Shia LaBeouf is becoming a folk hero. There's one storyline where Adam Driver just gets popped in the face, and then he's just fine. This movie is just utter nonsense across the board. It borders on just straight up being incoherent. Not even borders, it just straight up is incoherent a lot of the time. The whole sequence in the we saw in the trailer in the kind of the Coliseum. The entire sequence is just things happen. The mom's juiced. That meant nothing. Here's some gladiator games. Here's something that Shia LaBeouf does to sabotage. Here and now also Adam Driver's hammered. None of Francis Ford Coppola's ideas really get across that well. I guess I shouldn't say none. Some of them do in a way. I was kind of just watching this going why does this exist? I get he's trying to draw parallels to the Roman Empire to today, but I don't really. I'm kind of confused as to why. Visually speaking, it's just bad. I get that he did this on his own, but goddamn, $100 million and it looks like a fucking Neil Breen movie. You're low-key one of the greatest directors in history, and that's what your movies look like now. The green screen in this movie is a disaster. And the visual language in this movie, there are some visually interesting shots, but it just kind of looks like mucky garbage. It just ends up looking like fucking Argyle. Also, I'm not trying to virtue signal, but aside from Natalie Emanuel, all the women in this movie are just what if sex. They make out with each other a lot. They're constantly just dancing erotically. They just want to like Aubrey Plaza has a thing towards the end. I'm just like, the dialogue in this movie is crazy. There's a scene where he's just lying down. John Voight goes like, "What do you think of this boner?" I was like, what? Why is this in this movie? Director of The Godfather. What do you think of this boner? I'm like, is this a comedy now? I can't tell what the tone of this movie is. Is it sci-fi? Is it romance? Is it murder mystery? Is it Cirque du Soleil? That said, I don't know. I'm kind of happy it exists. It's obviously a piece of shit. Like, it's obviously garbage. But I think the best parts of this movie, honest to God, was when, like, me, my girlfriend, and the rest of my audience just kind of gave up and just started laughing. Like, it wasn't, like, throughout, because we were all, like, still, I guess, like, trying to lock in and see what was going on. But there were many moments where we all just went, like, fuck it, let's just laugh. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Let's just laugh. I don't think I'm giving this movie a pass just because it's Francis Ford Coppola. I just think it's so obviously disastrous, and yet it's so clearly coming from such a place of just pure tried and true passion. Like, he tried, he just sucks now. I am happy that I get to be alive when a new Francis Ford Coppola movie exists. That's such a joy to witness, getting to go see the new Francis Ford Coppola movie in theaters. That's awesome. On opening weekend in IMAX. I just wish it wasn't bad in every way so that all my enjoyment was just purely ironic. All in all, Megalopolis is an absolute shit show in a glorious way. Basically, Francis Ford Coppola's The Room in that it's such an incoherent disaster that's horribly structured, acted, and put together, and yet it's so clear how passionate Francis Ford Coppola is that you kinda can't help but be endeared by its messiness. I feel like this could find a home as a cult movie down the line for some pure ironic enjoyment, but I can't in good faith give Megalopolis any higher than 2 Francis Ford Coppolas out of 10. In terms of Oscars, I think its prospects are my dick. Like, subscribe, and share, and I'll show you my passion project. It's just me hitting the Dougie for 27 minutes straight in IMAX this fall. And there's a live interactive audience Q&A.